Good afternoon, everyone, man, and welcome to this week's episode of Inspiration Through Information, man. The G table is now here, right? We're here today, right? Listen to talk about something that I believe that each and every one of us are battling, and that's called me versus me, right? The challenge of life. We're here to discuss the challenge of life, right? And what is it to people? What is it to myself? What is it to anyone who is living and feel as though that they are faced with a lot of barriers, a lot of things in front of their lives, right? And as everyone know, my platform is Inspiration Through Information, right? Which is based in self-development, right? Listen, follow me on all major social media platforms, right? Follow me on TikTok at I am J Holmes, right? Follow me on Instagram at Inspiration Through Information, right? Subscribe and follow for me through YouTube, right? On Inspiration Through Information, right? These are the handles, and this is where I am, right? Today's topic is me versus me. And what I simply mean by that is that am I the reason that life seems to be such a great struggle for me to be able to elevate, growth, persevere? You know, at the G table, we deal with things of positivity, right? And we deal with things that are centered around self-development, right? Because I truly believe everything that we go through begins with us and ends with us in our adult ages. As we were children, a lot of things were done for us. So our interpretation of those things was generally those that were provided for us, right? But as we begin to develop our own ideas, our own aspects, our own aspirations of what life can be, should be, will be, this is when we really begin to experience the challenge of me versus me. What is my challenge when I speak about me versus me? This is simply spirit versus flesh. When I face something in life, when I go through something in life, right? When I am challenged with a situation in life, my first battle begins with me, right? And the battle is simply the decision. When I'm faced with making a decision, when I'm faced with having to make a decision, the challenge becomes it's not the external things that I may see that is my challenge. My challenge is not the external things, right? They exist, they are there, they are present. My challenge becomes when I have to make a decision on how I wish to go about it, how I wish to deal with it. Me versus me is simply saying, okay, in this next decision that I make, in this next decision that I'm about to make or experience in my life, am I willing? Am I ready? Am I capable of doing whatever's necessary to bring out the greatest results possibly? Because here's the truth, people. You can always make a decision. You can plan a decision. You cannot plan the results. You can only hope that the results of the decision turn out the way that you foreseen it, right? My job is to do all that I can do within the capacity of myself to put myself in a better position to acquire a desired result. Simply, when I make a decision, it comes with consequences. And when I say the word consequences, naturally a lot of people go to bad, right? No, consequences is just a result of a decision make, right? They can be good, they can be bad, they can be favorable, they can be unfavorable, right? And I have to ask myself, when am I at a disarray with a decision? And I say usually it's when the results are not favorable in my eyesight, in my spiritual results, this is when I become majorly concerned or issue bearing with the decision I made. It's when the results are not favorably my way. And now I begin to fight within myself as if, why did I make these decisions? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Why did I do that? And I forget the beginning reason. I made them basically because I had hoped for a desired outcome. Now, when that result was not matching my desired outcome, the first person I attacked was first me. See, I got to be honest with it. The other entities that may have been in the circumstance or the situation, they actually are receiving a secondary attack or defense or blame or finger pointing or reasoning. They are secondary. The first attack, which I had to learn and understand, was eternal. I was the first individual who felt as though I made a poor decision or a wrong decision. And I didn't like the way that the feelings inside developed based off of that. Everything else that took place after that was a secondary reaction. And it was based in and simply constructed for the simple fact of the matter is that I didn't like the results. See, I learned to live life in a way of simplicity. This is why when I say me versus me, there's no other. It's simply saying like, listen, once I learn me, I have won the game. I no longer have to participate in the striking of out, the strikeouts, whether or not I'm going to hit a home run, single base. And I'm just using the ideology of baseball, right? Because it's just a game that's played that comes with strikeouts. It comes with base hits. It comes with multiple facets. And I incorporate that into daily life, right? Sometimes when I'm up at the plate of life, right, I may swing and miss. Right? My job is not to acquire the mindset of that the game is over. I done lost the game because I swung and I missed. See, once I feel that the game is over, then the energy, the input, the desire to find out or change or critique my swinging stance is gone. It's not because the job, it's not because the mate, it's not because of the lack of finance. Granted, these things make it harder to be able to acquire a clear thought or a rational decision making. This is why it's great importance that we don't make more decisions in a state of mind when we're dealing with the sadness of the prior decision. Right? We because those decisions start to become compulsive or impulsive decisions, right? And impulsive decisions rarely ever bring good results. They are called reactionary decisions. They are decisions based off of the feeling I felt with this decision, and now I'm reacting to that feeling, and I'm making more decisions trying to get rid of that feeling, only finding out that I'm adding more confusion and chaos into my own spiritual conditioning, right? So these are the things that me versus me, right? It would be nice and it would be easier to sit around and blame the world or everything within the world for the conditioning and results. Now, I'm not dislodging or saying that external factors does not play a part in the scenario or the situations of some of our lives, right? What I'm saying is that they can't be the all in all in the condition of my life. Because at some point in time, right, whether it's now or whether it's later, you're going to come to a place in your life where you're going to have to look eternally and say, well, what part am I playing in the condition of my life? if I'm constantly saying that my life is the way that it is because of this, because of that, because of her, because of him, because of the job, what I'm saying and what I'm openly speaking out my mouth is that I have given my life to everything but myself. And then I want to get upset or I want to become angry at the condition of my life, because I don't want to accept the fact that who or what I've given my life to is doing it the way that they see fit for my life. See, it's called accountability for self. Accountability is simply a self-ordained act. It belongs to nobody else. So therefore, the blame or the results cannot be nobody else's. So my warfare begins with me, right? Do I want to take accountability in the decision I made and the results of it is not favorable? It's simple, right? They're not favorable. But in that decision making and in that consequential result, I do have what we call the choice to make another decision. Now I can either make another decision that can bring about improvement to the condition of my life. I don't know whether it's going to be better or worse, but I do know that it's going to be different. So I got to really listen to what I say to myself. And if I'm the only person that's saying it, I'm the only person that's doing it, right? That means that I'm limiting myself from growing. If I'm the first, in simple words, if I'm the first person I listen to and the last person I'm listening to, where is the wise counsel? Where is the room for a greater perspective? And if the results of my life keep seeming to end up the same, I'll give you a prime example. If you've ever experienced more than one relationship in your life, and I'm talking about an intimate relationship, right? And the results of those two different relationships end up the same, somewhere along the line, we have to take a look and say, is it them or is it me? Because it's very rare that the results of two different situations become equally the same, unless the component that has been involved in both of those situations. I know it. Listen, I know it ain't the prettiest or the sweetest thing to hear or feel, but it's the reality of the truth. Now, does this make you bad or good person? No. All it says is that I keep doing the same thing, although I'm doing it in different areas. I'm doing it around different people, and I'm doing it in different atmospheres. I'm still bringing the me in me to the table. So if my desire is to win the game when it comes to me, see, I have to understand I got to stop trying to win the game over other people. And I had to learn that the most important game that I need to be a part of and become victorious in is the me versus me. I have to first champion me, the eternalism of me. I have to champion that game before I can even think that I have a fighting chance in the game outside of me. Because if I have yet to become secure in who I am, that means when I entertain the outside world of me, I'm susceptible to be led by anything and everything. And then the results I have no part in. This is what I've experienced through my heart, the maturity and the growth in my life comes to understand that I can't change. Matter of fact, I know I can't change other people. I cannot bring about or make anyone make any other decision. Now, I can manipulate people into making decisions, right? But here's the question. Am I manipulating them, or am I manipulating myself into believing that miraculously I'm doing something so slick that I have the ability to have people do whatever they want to make my life comfortable, but yet I still find myself frustrated all the time? So that means my manipulative skills must not be good, because I still have not found the joy nor the happiness that I say I'm seeking, or that I say that I'm making people or using people to acquire. And then I get upset as to why I haven't had it, why I don't get it. So what I learned is that the end result is that no matter what I perform or do with other people, if I'm not okay with me, while being with me, nothing outside of me is going to be long lasting, nor is it going to sustain in my foundational uproot. So I've come to understand that in order to build a healthy foundation, I first must have to look at the me inside of me. How is the foundational me? What is it? What is it standing on? Is it solid enough to endure the interaction of others or other things? If being with me, by myself, with myself, is a problem to me, I'm going to be problematic in every situation I'm in, because the moment the situation causes me to look at me or experience something about me, I become unstable. And then I begin to make unstable decisions. And then I become reactive and impulsive, trying to avoid the feelings that of me in me. One of my greatest things that I live by in the here and now, and this is not an overnight acquirement, people. If you want to know the truth or the validity to what the things that I'm saying when it concerning me, all you got to do is go to Amazon and buy my book, right? The name of my book is Journey, right? Through the Pain into the Purpose, right? That's the title of my book, right? And it's simply a book discussing how an event and the avoidance of dealing with the feelings of that event led me into a realm of life to where everything outside of me had became the controlling factors in my life. And it took me and it weighed me and it swayed me the way that it so choose to do. And it left me in a space of, where I was at, feeling as though the life that I had, or the life that I considered was mine, wasn't worth living. So I have to be real mindful and understand that when I want to stand on certain words like this, and one of the worst words, or the worst combination of words that has been offered into society, is I know. I know has done more detriment to the man, woman, or child in life than any other combination of phrases that has ever been delivered. And this is just my belief on it, because the moment I say I know, I make the conscious decision to shut off any type of growth, any type of ability to see anything or do anything else, because I know it's a solidifying of basically anything coming in is not going to even resonate, because I know. And one of the things I had to learn from my own life is that if I know something, why is it still tripping me up? Why is it still causing me to feel? And now I got to find rationalizations and justifications of some of the most outrageous stuff so that I can feel good about my I know. I no longer say I know. I say I know of, and I do know, because we all know things. The key is not to become so grounded in what I know that I refuse to see or learn anything different. And if the results of what I know has not brought about peace, happiness, or joy consistently in my life, then what good is what I know? So what I know is not sufficient. And if it's not sufficient to accomplish what it is that I'm seeking, then I'm left in a dilemma of me versus me. Do I humble myself? Do I have enough humility to say, well, I guess I really didn't know? Because it's something in the words that I don't know that opens up the floodgates of knowledge. Once you don't know something, it opens up your ability to learn it, to acquire something different so that you can have a different results, right? And that's the me and me. Do outside things in our lives have an effect on our lives? Yes, they do. But we are the sole determining factors of what type of effect or how great the effect has in our lives. When we give our lives into the hands of another to control, and what I'm saying to you, and I'm saying this to say that that's hope. We hope that the person we love is going to value and treasure and treat our love in the way that will make us feel as though that they hold us in high regards. Yes, we all hope, but here's the hit. If you're providing that, because I've learned this in life and I'm mature life, over 90% of the people who desire something from someone else are unwilling to provide it. They are looking for someone to replace or give them something that they feel they don't have inside of themselves. I am a living example and have great knowledge of being that type of person. As I matured, as I got to understand, as I was left in a space and time where I had to face me and learn to understand the me in me is the part of life that I need to champion. And once I was able to champion that, the external things in my life or that take place in my life have their effect, but none of their effects consume me. None of their effects stop me from elevating, growing, from feeling okay about me. Whenever our lives are centered around external things having the major component in the parts that make us feel as though if we're somebody, if we're valuable enough, if I'm good enough, can I do these things? And we're looking for external answers. That means that how we feel about ourselves is at a low. It's at a low. Because when you start to understand that the you in you is the best person that you can possibly be, and you have the ability to improve, improve, there's always room for improvement. As long as we living and breathing, we can become a better version of ourselves. And it's important to tackle the self in you before you start trying to fix the self in others. We spend a lot of our times trying to make other people be better for us. And in the process of doing that, we start to lose us. We start to replace the us in us with the them in them. And then we become frustrated that it's not responding according to the vision that I have. Let me share something to you, and this is not to minimize nor maximize anyone's walk or experience in life. It's to bring about some simplicity to the complexity in what we've created life to be. We have made life more complex than what it really is. Life is a simple application. We may experience and endure and go through complex things, but it should not cause our eternalism to feel complexed. Because life still, no matter how much we put around it, is a simple application. Be the best that you can be, do the best that you can do, and be good to others. Live life through goodwill. And people say, well, I used to be a good person. I ain't good no more, right? I don't trust people no more. And me too at one point in time. And I say, so you went from being a person of goodness and now you're walking around in just a old bitter ball of bitterness. And then you turn around and say it's because boo-hoo or shoo-shoo or society or these things. This is why I'm a bitter person. So I always ask person, I said, do you think society cares whether or not you in a state of bitterness? Do you think has boo-hoo stopped living and doing what they doing because you in a place of bitterness? Has woo and if they honest and they really look at it, they be like, no. But for most people, it frustrates them more when they see the entities or the individuals in which they have a bitterness towards not seeming to care. Here's the reality of it. They don't have to care. They ain't the ones in that place. You are. And then you feeling like they gotta be some cold and cruel and evil people that they would put me in a place of bitterness and then not care enough to help me get out of the bitterness. And here's where you put yourself in that place of bitterness because you made a conscious decision that what you were feeling or what you felt, you didn't want to face. You didn't want to accept. So you chose to cower or rescind yourself into the woes of that situation in hopes that they will feel the effect of it. And when they don't feel the effect of it, now you become even more into a ball or a box of sadness, bitterness, and all this other stuff. You say you desire or want some things in life, but the honesty is that you want these things and you want someone else to do these things for you. But here's the problem with that. Even if someone does it for you, are you going to be okay with the results that it creates? And if you're honest, the me in you ain't gonna be happy with the development of you if it belongs to someone else. It's okay to acquire things from people that we meet and we live in life, some goodness or some characteristics that we may be attracted to and say, man, I like that. I like the niceness in that person, right? And we could simply say, well, how do you be so nice? How do you have so much care? But instead of asking, we're going to act like we know. And then we're going to try to implement that stuff into life. And we're going to want now. Experience is a great teacher. We will go through some stuff, and a lot of stuff we learn in life is through our actual experience. I'm going to say this in closing, right? With the me, this is part one of Me versus Me. Second part will be next week, Thursday, same time. But this is just to get us to the rough point and the rough understanding that life's greatest challenges for us in the human world is simply us versus us. Me versus me is just the title, but it's also referring to the you versus you, the you versus you. And if we take a deep look and an honest assessment of ourselves, we'll see that it was our unsurety, our frailty, our inability to make a decision or a decision after a decision because we got consumed in the results. So we put it in the headlock because we told ourselves, I'm never going to experience that pain ever again, only to live life experiencing pain. So into the next episode in the next week of Me versus Me challenge, I challenge each and every one of y'all who may watch this or view this to take a deep look inside yourself and see if you're your greatest barrier. How you think, how you feel, your non-existent morals and standards, the things you stand on, the things you say you believe, these things and the unwillingness to change any of these things can be the increment, the direct reason as to why no growth came in your life. Change comes to the individual who is open-minded enough to acquire new things. And if you're that individual who sits around and complains about all the things or the feelings in your life and then turn around and do nothing and does nothing, then you have to ask yourself, why am I afraid to let go of the complaints or the fears of my life? Because it's no one else's responsibility to know why you're afraid to let go of some stuff that you don't expose to them. If you have not shared these things with anyone, there's no one else who can give you a different perspective. You just have a bunch of people trying to guess, and you're sitting back manipulating people. No, that's not it. No, that's not it. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's a form of manipulation, and manipulation is a tool of fear. Those who use manipulation, they use it because they're in a state of fear. What's the fear? Fear of getting hurt, fear of experiencing some type of emotional sadness, fear of this, fear of that, fear of that. They may not title it fear, they'll try to put some smooth words on it, because I did too. I ain't afraid of nothing. I'm just protecting myself. I'm just keeping my spirit clean. I'm just keeping this and all that. So I'm like, listen, why do you feel the need to do that? Oh man, because when I used to be like this is what happened. This is what happened. So you done built your life around to protect yourself from things that you can't protect yourself from. Because I'm going to say this in closing, from inspiration through information. If you had the ability to protect yourself from feeling something, you would have never felt it in the first place. So until next time, this is your host. I am Jay Holmes, right? And this is inspiration through information at the G table, right? Follow me on all social media platforms, right? Spend time. Check me out on TikTok under I am Jay Holmes, right? Listen, go buy my books, man. Go buy my book so that you can understand that this individual who is your host and who is talking to you is not talking to you from a place that he has never experienced. So until next time and until next week, man, this is inspiration through information, man. And we're giving you a shout out. Listen, man, follow me, send your comments, comment all of it. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for your time. Till next week. Peace out.